in drawing and painting, we can divide the whole learning process into four clear sections. Drawing, which is shapes, mark making, gesture, and then values, which is light and dark, or chiaroscuro, and drawing in mass. And the next step is accents and edges. It's usually the step that people forget. We all kind of get so excited about jumping into colour, but we're just going to do one session on accents and edges. So when artists look at the world, they don't see the world in terms of objects or in terms of tangible objects or words that we know like trees and flowers and fields. We look much more in terms of light and dark or warm colours and cool colours, and also edges, lost edges and found edges, and accents. So I've done these little drawings following this pot here. So in this drawing here, I've drawn it completely tangibly as we would hold it. So just thinking about the outside shape. In this one here, this is how we'd view it more in terms of the values or the shadow shapes and light shapes. So I've created a shape for the light, a shape for the dark that includes the cast shadow. This shape here is the shadow inside the object. So in a way it appears much more abstract. And when you look at paintings in the history of art, you'll probably find the ones that excite you, like Rembrandt or Caravaggio, approach it much more abstractly. So we know lots of lovely flower painters from the Dutch Golden Age, but they're quite drawn, and so it doesn't excite us. And we don't know them as well as Rembrandt and Sargent and other characters like that. So when you look at art history, see the paintings that excite you and the ones that you like. You'll probably find they're the ones that seem more abstract. So we talk about Velázquez being the most visual of artists, or the most impressionistic. So in this one here, the last drawing, I'm just going to draw the accents and the highlights. So when we talk about accents, it's little sharp shapes that draw our attention in, and edges or lost edges, and was when we don't actually need an edge. So even though the edge here exists, it's lost in the shadow, so we can lose that edge. So let's see what happens in this drawing. So if I think of the accents would be like the highest light. So perhaps the highest light is on this shape here, little light here. When people do lights, they often want to draw the whole contour edge. You want to just put a little accent of light there, or a little accent of light. Don't draw the edge. Try and make sure that your accents are different from your contours. So there's a lovely shape here on the edge there to show where the highest point of the turn of the jug is. And there's a lovely little accent right here. What I mustn't do is continue the shape the whole way along. There's actually a lovely space here, the way this is sort of lost into the background, that shape. So I'm just going to go over the edge here. The very obvious place to go over the edge would be here, in this part of the shadow, there where it's lost. And another area which would be exciting to have an accent, rather than being on the edge of the form, would be inside the form. So to really emphasise the area that's in light and the area that's in shadow, like I've done here. You see, I try not to connect the line the whole way through, just to make it a little bit more exciting. With our mark making, which was from lesson 1, when you do your marks, you can otherwise do them consistently, always the same way, which can make for a very tidy looking drawing. I'm not a very tidy person, so I tend to follow the form. Don't echo the form, don't go that way, but follow the shape, so the roundness of the form here, or the roundness of the form here, which is why I'm making horizontal marks. Perhaps there's a little accent just to say where the base is. And I think there's also a lovely little highlight just here. Oops, I'm taking it out of the page. Just there. And perhaps there's a little accent on the lip. That's an important part, isn't it? So So you see your accents are the areas where you want to draw our attention. So we want to draw our attention perhaps to the lip, perhaps to the shadow and light form here, perhaps to the highlight there. And the lost edges is where we don't need to draw our attention. So we don't really need that much information on the edge there. I'll make it a little bit clearer. And there. So this is a lost edge, and that's lost. And this is found. And this is found. So we talk about lost and found edges, lost shapes and accents. So next session we're going to be talking about colour.